welcome to another crafty video. So today's one is using some lovely products that the amazing company HTVRONT sent me to play with, and also tomorrow's video will be using more of the products that they sent me to play with as well. And both these two videos are going to be on the Halloween kind of theme, like making ornaments and bits and pieces that maybe you would want to put into like trick-or-treating bags or just to gift people, you know, in the month of October as well. So they're not like overly Halloweeny, they can just be pumpkin-y themed as well, or you can just take you know, the basic concepts of what I'm going to show you and then do it for Christmas, for birthdays, any kind of season as well. But this video and tomorrow's video in particular are going to be sort of making Halloweeny kind of bits and pieces. But in today's video we're actually going to be making some acrylic ornaments, because they sent me this pack of acrylic Christmas ornaments, but obviously you can make an ornament for any time of year. They're obviously like a bauble kind of shape, as you know, they were designed to be for Christmas, but they're perfectly clear acrylic, so they're really gorgeous for applying vinyl onto, and then you having that see-through aspect behind the rest of them. Or I'm sure later down the line, whenever I get another chance, I'll be playing with them again, because I think they would be great for playing around with, maybe just adding different die cuts and things on top and making them more a bit 3D, or also playing around with those Pebeo fantasy paints that I had a long time ago, and creating some cool kind of almost like domed ornaments, you know, with putting like maybe a layer of resin and things on top of them like that. So hopefully later down the line I'll probably play with that kind of thing. But for today's video we are going to be going with vinyl, and possibly decorating a little bit with a few gems or sequins as well, just to sort of spruce them up a little bit too. But they're a gorgeous size of ornament. I don't know if it actually says on the box what size they are. No, it did say on the website though, but the actual size is 3 inches. So 3 inches or 7.5 centimetres diameter, so a really decent sized little ornament. They do also inside here, this is a pack of 20 and it's currently on offer for $4.99, which is fantastic. And they come in little stacks of 4, there's 5 stacks of 4, and you do also get the ribbons for them. However, because we're going for a spooky Halloweeny kind of theme instead of Christmas, I'm going to save the red ribbon for something else, or for using on more decorations when I do try out a Christmassy theme on them as well. And we're going to go with some black ribbon for them, using some of the tonic ribbon. So the one that I have actually finished, I did do one ahead of time. I used the thinner ribbon, but we might also use some of the thicker ribbon as well, because this ribbon that comes with this is actually like an in-between width of the two that tonic do. So also I should tell you, if you want to get hold of any of these lovely products that I'm working with, which is mostly the these acrylic ornaments, some permanent adhesive vinyl, and I have also cut the permanent adhesive vinyl with the LOKLiK Cutting Machine as well, which I've previously shown in 1 or 2 other videos as well. So if you want to have a more in-depth look at how I cut this, then you can go back and look at those videos too. I decided to already have things cut so that you weren't watching stuff that you've already seen me do before. And yeah, if you want to get hold of any of these products, then you can use my affiliate links in the description box, and you can also use the discount code Christine Smith, so CHRISTINE SMITH. I'll put it up here and it'll be in the description box as well, and you can use that to get an extra 10% off your order. So even though this pack of 20 ornaments is currently on offer for $4.99, you can get 10% off that as well. So I think I'll make it $4.49 for a pack of 20 of these gorgeous ornaments. And as I was saying, I'm going to be using vinyl on these, but I think adding your die cuts onto these would look fantastic as well. If you've got any gorgeous ones like little poinsettias or twigs and things, you could make like a mini wreath on here. You could just put a sentiment across it. There's so many different things that you could do with a lovely blank like this. And they do have a protective film on both sides, so if you were going to maybe want to do acrylic pouring or use some of those fantasy paints like I was talking about, you can leave the back one on whilst you're working and protect it as well, which is really nice. And even when you're applying the vinyl onto them too, you can leave the back one on whilst you're applying it onto the front, and then it's going to protect it from getting scratched if you're moving it around or anything. So I really love these ornaments. And the first one that I've made, I really love how it's turned out as well. I think I've got five other ones, I think, to do in this video with you as well. And the other bits and pieces that HTVRONT very kindly sent me to play with were 3 rolls of their permanent adhesive vinyl. So when I did my previous videos using the LOKLiK Cutting Machine, I had the gold permanent adhesive vinyl that came with the bundle that you got with the machine when I was gifted that machine by LOKLiK. And this is the beautiful gold colour that I've got, but I've now got 3 new colours to play with for this video as well. But this was the project that I created in that video, so if you want to see the whole process of cutting the vinyl, and I did also screen record in that case as well and show you the actual program that you can use and how you cut all of the vinyl and everything and change the settings and stuff. But if you want to see how I cut the vinyl, weeded the vinyl and all of that kind of stuff, you can check out this video where I created this bottle. But we will be using the transfer tape in this video to transfer the designs onto the baubles as well, so you will get to see that in this video. And I was also going to say that this time when I was cutting the vinyl, I was actually using the correct mat. So before I used the green mat because I had 2 of them, because one came in the bundle, one came with the machine, so I thought, well, I might as well use the mat that I've got 2 of in case I go wrong, because it's the first time of me using it. But the correct mat you're supposed to use for vinyl is the light grip mat, which is this blue one, which I think you can buy individually if you don't have a light grip mat as well. But it does work on the green mat, as you saw in the previous video that I did. It just, the backing paper or the backing plastic sheet of the vinyl just kind of grips to it a lot more, obviously because it's a heavier gripping kind of mat. The light grip was so much easier for doing that, so I also wanted to say that to you. And also, I didn't realise, but this plastic protector that you get on your mats to stop pumpkin hair, for example, getting all over your mat, or fluff from your jumper or dust and things whilst you're not using it. Even though it feels the same on both sides, it is actually slightly different on both sides. So I recommend taking a Sharpie and writing top on this protective bit before the first time you use it, because you see here, it's coming off really easily. When I went to use my standard grip mat, I was really struggling trying to get this protective piece off the top, and it's because I had stuck it back on the wrong way round. I'd stuck it back on the other way up, and if you do that, apparently it really grips to the mat. So just a top tip as well for using with your mats, always write which way up this protective piece was on your mat beforehand, just to stop that from ever happening. You know, if you can read top, you know that you've put it back on the right way round, and I think it's just going to help you later down the line, not struggling trying to just take the protective piece off the top of your cutting mat as well. And I was also going to say too, there is a new version of the cutting software. I think it's called LOKLiK Idea Studio. I was using that to do my cutting as well. To begin with, I was kind of like, oh no, I've got to get used to another program. But actually, I think it is actually much easier to use than the previous version of the like LOKLiK design software for creating all of your vinyl bits and pieces. And some of the designs that I'm using are from the thousands of free designs that you get within the LOKLiK Studio, and some of them are actually just free ones that I found on the internet. So if you just go on Google and search for free Halloween SVG cutting files, or you know, whatever theme you're going with, you can, a lot of the time you can just download them for free. Obviously if you're only using them for personal use, if you have to pay for designs if you want to sell them and stuff, and some of the places kind of require you to put them in your basket and check out, but then it costs nothing because they were free files. So there's kind of different ways of downloading and getting your free SVG files, and it usually gives you like a zipped folder, and you can click on that and go through all of the different weird categorizations that they've put all of their files in within that zipped folder. And if you find the one that's a PNG file, that was what was working for me for using them as cutting files to cut my adhesive. And also the new software, maybe I should have done a screen recording for you. I'm sure I'll use it again in the future, and I'll probably do another screen recording too. But another great feature of it, I don't know if you heard me saying when I was cutting this Monstera one that I'd left them all the random colours because I couldn't figure out how to change them. This one, this new software is so easy to change the different colours. So when I was working, I have got these 3 new colours to play with. I got glossy white, glossy orange and matte black. So when I was picking all of my Halloween designs, I was changing the pieces into the right colours because you'll see later on, I wanted to do some like playing around with trying to layer the different adhesive vinyl, and so in my mind it was so much easier to have changed the fill colour of the images on my mat on the screen, so that I knew exactly which ones I wanted to cut out of what colour of vinyl. So it's much easier to do that now. I think a lot of things were much easier to do, like grouping and ungrouping and things like that. So if you, I mean, there's the LOKLiK software is totally free. You can download the app onto your phone or onto your computer and just play around with it if you want to as well, before you even think of buying one of these cutting machines, if you do want to get hold of one. Just play around with the software, see if you can create some designs that you want to create. I do want to do some more like playing around with the fonts and things that they've got on there, and just making some like quotes or slogans to put on different bits and pieces as well. But playing around with the images is so much fun too. Yeah, so I think that's everything that I wanted to say. So in this video, we're going to be playing with those ornaments. We're playing with matte black vinyl, glossy orange vinyl and glossy white vinyl that I have already cut out with my LOKLiK cutting machine, and using the invaluable weeding tool set as well. This is still so brilliant for weeding, because some of that adhesive vinyl, you wouldn't think that it was really that sticky, but trying to like pick it off your fingers when you've got like a tiny little dot from a design or something, sometimes it takes quite a bit of effort to get it off of your hands, and this is brilliant for holding all of those different bits and pieces in there. And then the other thing we're going to be using is one of the things that I got in the crafters bundle that came with my LOKLiK cutting machine, which is the grid transfer tape, but I'm pretty certain that HTVRONT will also sell that as well, so I'll link that below. And all of these bits and pieces that I have used, I'll do separate links to them as well. You know, just so that you can, if you know what you want, you can click on that link and go and get that. Or if you just want to browse the website as well, I'll just put a generic link to the website too. And with the generic link, I can actually make it so that the discount code is already applied, so you don't even have to type in the code. If you put something in your basket, go to your basket, it will already have the discount code in there and take the 10% off for you as well. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way, and then we'll get on to using a bit of transfer tape to take the designs off of the backing paper and start applying them to some gorgeous acrylic ornaments. So this is the one that I created this morning, just because I wanted to definitely make sure that these were going to come out nicely. And this design, I think this was a free one that I had gotten off of Google, but it's got a gorgeous intricate base piece, and then it's got the stem separate. So I did the matte black for the little stem of the pumpkin, and then I used the glossy orange for the main pattern, and then I've also decorated it with a few little gems on there as well. It had little dots within the design, and I thought, oh, you know, I could put Nuvo drops or something on there, but I made it this morning and I wanted it to be dry, so I decided to pick out some little tiny orange gems that I had to put on there, and I think it looks really cool. And this one I've also attached onto a greetings card, so if you wanted to give something like this as a gift, you know, you can actually just attach it to a greetings card, and we'll go through this once we've done all of these designs. I'll pick one more of them and show you how I've put it onto the card as well, how to do the holes in there to get it to be really easy to tie onto there as well. So I just wanted to show you that one, but it's really beautiful clear acrylic. Look how lovely and transparent it is. It's really, really lovely. I kind of took them out of the packet and I was kind of like, oh dear, are they going to be as good as I wanted them to be? But because they kind of look like this with their protective pieces on there, but they really are beautifully clear acrylic ornaments when you take those protective layers off. So let me zoom you in a bit closer. I've got multiple different designs that I wanted to try. I've got this gorgeous pumpkin here, which has got the words trick or treat missing out of it. So the actual vinyl that we wanted was the pumpkin with the words missing. But if you have very careful, you probably could have kept the words as well, but I feel like maybe you could just, you know, cut another one if you wanted the words and take the pumpkin out of the way and keep all of those word pieces. And just as I say pumpkin, you heard her bark from the kitchen windowsill. I'm sure she'll be back in here in a minute, barking in here too. So we've got that design to try, and then I found these pumpkin faces also on Google as well, and I was thinking, okay, I could just put a pumpkin face on there, but then I was thinking, but I don't want to cover the whole thing in orange vinyl because it would take away that gorgeous transparency of the acrylic. So I found a splatty pattern. This was in the LOKLiK library. It had something else inside it, and I just deleted that part of it and kept the splatty design of it. And I thought we could have like a splattered pumpkin onto an ornament as well. I thought that would be quite a cool one to do. So we've got that one to play with. This one, I think I found this one on Google as well. It was a free file that I found, and I really liked it, but I wanted to make the ghost white, so I cut another one from white and then just kept the ghost. So we're going to play around and see if I can get that to layer directly behind that as well. So, you know, I don't know if that how successful that's going to be, but we're going to try it and see if I can actually make that work. Then I also wanted to play around with another splat, and I wanted to try some more intricate kind of words on here as well. So we're going to do a white splat on this one, and then we've got the really intricate words, trick or treat, with a tiny little bat at the top there, and like really tiny little bits of detail on here as well. This little tiny bit here of the E, those two little bits, were a little bit tricky to weed, but I managed to keep them in place in the end. So I want to see how well you can layer something detailed over a solid shape of vinyl too, just to sort of play around with that. And then the final one that I wanted to do is a really layered design. I want to see if I can layer up 4 different vinyl designs on top of each other. So we've gone for a black splat in this one. And then I've gone for an orange circle, so I might offset it so we can still see some of the splatting coming out the side. And I'm pretty sure this was in the LOKLiK studio as well. It was just like a swirl on top of a circle, and you could cut them both in different colours. So I've got a swirl from white to go on top of the orange, and then I think this was from the LOKLiK studio as well, actually. It's sort of like a little flurry of bats to go across it. I thought that might be quite nice to add onto there. This one did move off of the backing sheet. You can see it's in a slightly different position, but I still think it looks fine in the cluster. I could move it back there if I wanted to before we pick it up, but I think that's going to look nice. So we've kind of got different difficulties, I think, going through this to kind of see how, well, just sort of play around with, see how well, you know, the vinyl kind of comes off. Can you apply 2 layers on top of each other? Is it really easy to do? Is it a little bit more tricky? Is it better to pick up one design, put it on the bauble, pick up the next design and place that over the top? Or for this one, it might be easier to transfer the intricate design onto our transfer tape and then also transfer the white behind it, because otherwise we're never going to get that in the right place on the bauble for that to go perfectly over the top and fit perfectly on there. So also, you might be wondering how I got this to be the perfect size for this bauble. Well, in the LOKLiK Design Studio, pretty sure it's that, like, in this new version of the software, it's like the top right corner. I think it has your like little login logo, and then you can click on that and change the settings, and you can change it from inches to centimetres, so you can really accurately measure what you want to put your vinyl onto, and then make your design maybe, like, I think I was doing 5mm smaller than the actual diameter of the ornament as well, and then you can get the perfect sized decal to go onto your project as well. So yeah, I think let's start with the easiest one first. I'm saying this is the easiest just because it's just one image and we're just transferring it straight from this onto the bauble. I don't know if it's going to be the easiest. I'm hoping it will be. But first of all, before we do that, we want to take the top layer of protectiveness off of this. So the way I was doing it is I was just poking at this top piece with my scissors, and I decided to go on the top piece there because if I did accidentally scratch it with the scissors, there's going to be a bit of ribbon tied around that, so we're not going to see it. If you're poking straight into this middle bit and you gouge a big scratch into it, you're going to see it. So I'd recommend trying to take the backing off, going from that top like bauble cap piece, and then we just peel that off. It still looks cloudy because the one is still on the back, and I recommend keeping that back one on there until you've like decided what you're going to do with them, maybe, although we might have to remove the very top bit so we can tie the ribbon on. that might be a good idea. And then we're going to put this gorgeous pumpkin with the words trick or treat cut out of it onto this ornament. Just really, really simple, and we might embellish this with a few sequins or gems and things as well, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. But the way this adhesive vinyl works is you cut it out the right way round on your machine. So when I was doing that little hoodie for Pumpkin a while back, I was using heat transfer vinyl, which you have to mirror the image and cut it out, because when you, it's already got a transfer sheet on it, so then you flip it backwards to apply it to your surface. But with the permanent adhesive vinyl, the way round that you're cutting into it is the way round that your final image is going to be. So you want them all to be just the normal way round, the, you know, legible from the front. And then you're going to weed all of the excess out, which I already did because I knew it was going to take a little while, and I didn't want you to have to sit here whilst I was weeding it all out. And then you want to take a small piece of your transfer tape. I do still have the piece that I used to transfer that whole design onto my water bottle as well, but I thought I might keep that because I know then that's the right size for doing one of those bottles, because I've got another one that the designs are rubbing off of as well, which I might end up doing a design for later down the line too. So I've just gone with a little scrap that was left over. The leftover bits from cutting that big bit were these two pieces, so I'm just using a little bit of that. So we're going to peel that off the backing. I've already used this once as well. You can reuse this lots and lots of times. And then, oh, it's already got a pumpkin hair stuck to it, obviously. I'll just leave that on there for now. So we can press this down onto our vinyl design that we've weeded, and then we would just want to make sure that this is well and truly grabbing onto that design. And we can press with your finger like that, or you can use like the tonic glide folder, a bone folder, you know, anything that you want to really, to sort of apply a decent amount of pressure onto the vinyl areas, just because what we want to do is we want to take the vinyl from its backing sheet and transfer it onto this transfer tape. And so now we can peel this back, and as we're going, you can see that piece there, it's wanting to stay on the backing paper and not stick onto the transfer sheet. So if we press that, then we can keep going, pulling this off, and then any places that don't want to stay stuck onto the transfer sheet, we can just help them by pressing from the back to get them to stay onto the transfer sheet. Oh, that piece really doesn't want to stay. There we go. Okay, so now we have got our design on our sticky transfer sheet, so we can take our ornament. I have been using the grid lines on my mat to kind of line it up. You can see I've kind of got it sort of central with a line going down the middle, just so I can kind of eyeball, you know, getting things straight and level and everything. And then this one stalk isn't right in the centre, so we kind of got to bear that in mind as well. But I'm sort of going for the side pieces of the pumpkin and then looking at like how far the stalk is, how far the bottom of the pumpkin is from the edges of the ornament. And I think like that is going to look good. And then again, you can use your fingers to burnish this down, or you can use a glide folder or a bone folder, whatever you want to. Okay, and then we can remove the transfer tape, and you might get little bubbles in it sometimes, but you can just smooth those out. And a lot of the time, we're working with small pieces here, so a lot of the time the little bubbles that we might get are like millimeters in diameter, so they're very easy to kind of work out of it as well. And then we've got our gorgeous design transferred onto our bauble. I'm going to just put the transfer tape back onto there so we can use it again in a minute. And then, I don't know if, maybe if I hold it up you'll be able to see. See, there's a few little bubbles in there, but what we can do is take our glide folder and gently sort of work those little bubbles out. Okay, haven't quite managed to get all of those bubbles out. I thought they would be a little bit easier to get out. The other design didn't have quite as many. I guess because this is more of a solid design. So there are quite a few bubbles on this. I think I'm just going to go with it because, you know, pumpkins do have little bubbly sort of pieces on them. But to disguise some of that, if you want to disguise it, I have got some Halloweeny sequins and things here that I've had for years. Just different kind of icons and things. I think they're usually like, they call them table scatter for putting on your tables at a party. So we could put like a little witch on her broom there to kind of cover up a couple of those bubbles. Then there's also some little bats in here as well, I think. Is there any black bats? Yeah, there's a black bat. Okay, so we could put a couple of bats on here. Oh, that's a bit of a mangled. They're both a bit mangled, those bats. Let me tip these out. There's some horrible spiders in here, but I don't know if I want to put them on there. Let's just separate some of these bats. And then we could have a little bat up there. That looks quite good. And then maybe a couple more bats. We could put one bat over here and then possibly another bat. I think that's just one, yeah. No, maybe that looks too many. Maybe two bats. Two bats and a witch. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, so I'll put all of these back in here. Okay, so now we can just take a little bit of glue and add our sequins. Make sure you tap off the excess so you're not getting little blobs of glue on the vinyl. Okay, and there we've got our first ornament. You can see how much that's kind of disguised those little air bubbles that are in there, but straight from the front you can't even see them, so it's just when you catch the light on it. But that's our first one, which is nice and simple, and I'm going to leave that backing on there for now, so it does look a little bit cloudy, but when you do remove the other side of it, it's going to look perfectly clear like this. You can kind of see the difference between having the backing on there and taking it off. Then the next one I wanted to try was doing this splat pumpkin. So for this one, I think I'm going to apply the splat onto the bauble and then apply the face on top of that. And then for the spooky season one with the ghost, I think I'm going to try and put both of them on the transfer tape and apply them together, just to try something a little bit different and see which kind of works better. So we need to take the protective cover off the front side of our bauble, like we did before. Then we need to take our transfer tape and put that on top of our vinyl splat. There's not too many pieces on this that it's gonna like skip picking up. There's just two splats and then the main big splat as well. So this should be pretty simple to get it to stick to the transfer tape. There's not too many fiddly little pieces. We will make sure all of those little splatty edges though are nicely held onto there. And then, yep, we can just pull this off and it's holding on to the transfer tape for us. Then we can apply this onto the bauble. I'm trying to push out from the middle, I think, to see if we can minimise any little air bubbles in this. I mean, we're learning as we go along with this video. It's not technically an experiments video, but I guess we are kind of experimenting, so maybe I should have called it an experiments video. But we're just wanting to apply that gorgeous splat onto our bauble. And then peel the transfer tape off. You can see how sticky the transfer tape still is, even though I've used this for 3 different designs now. Okay, put that back on there. It's not too bad with bubbles. A couple of tiny little ones. We can probably get rid of that one. Yeah, and then this little tiny one here. There's a tiny one there. And at the side here. I think you can actually pop them with a little pin and push the air out that way if you really want to get rid of those bubbles. I don't really mind them too much. So we're going to go with our orange splat like that, and then we want to pick up our pumpkin face, and I think I might do it a little bit offset, kind of like this, or we could do it right in the middle. Maybe the middle looks better. Okay, let's pick this up on our same transfer sheet that we've been using. And I'll put it back around this way onto the backing sheet, and then we can press nice and firmly. And then peel. There we go. And then we can just apply this where we want it to go. Yeah, I think I will go more middle actually. And then I'm hoping we can now just peel this off without peeling up the orange vinyl. Yeah. There we go. So that's successful, that you can put one layer of vinyl down, another layer on top, and this is actually the matte black vinyl. You can see it's got a different finish. It's kind of got almost like a little texture to it, that matte blackness to it, but I really like that. I think that looks really good. Very simple kind of design, and we could decorate this a little bit more with a few gems and things. Maybe we'll come back to doing that at the end. We'll get the rest of the designs onto the baubles, and then we'll see about more decorations on there too, because I've got some white heart gems I think might look quite nice on that one. Okay, so this next one, sorry about the angle grinding you can hear outside. I think it's the neighbour. I don't know if you can actually hear it on the camera, but I just heard it again, so I thought I'd say sorry for it. So this next one is going to be a little bit complicated because we want to try and put this onto the transfer tape and then try and get this little ghosty to be exactly behind there, because what I did was I cut the exact same design in the exact same size out of white and black, and then I just kept the infill area of the ghost in the white so I could put it back behind it as well. So hopefully this is going to work, but again it's a little bit of an experiment, so I'm not actually sure if it is going to work. So we're going to take our same piece of transfer tape and place that over the top of this very intricate design. So we're going to have to spend a little while pressing all of this down, so I'll speed this bit up. Okay, so now we've got the intricate design on here. I'm going to keep the backing paper there, place the ghost onto there, and hope, actually maybe it's better if I hold it in midair actually, and try and get that ghost to be exactly, sorry if you can't 100% see this. Wow, okay, I think I did it. So let's press this nice and firmly into place. Now hopefully the transfer tape will hold on to that white ghost as well. Might need a bit more pressing. Yay, it worked! That's exactly how I was hoping it would work. Okay, so that does work. So you can infill vinyl designs with other colours as well, which is brilliant. And I wasn't prepared and haven't taken the backing off of this bauble. Okay, so we've got our gorgeous bauble there, which I will kind of centre on my grid lines just to make it a little bit easier. And then we've got our gorgeous spooky season. I think I'm going to try and make the cloud horizontal. And I'm also just looking, I'm eyeballing the spacing from the edge of the ornament all the way around as well, like looking at where the font is. And I think that's going to be good. Maybe not quite 100% in the centre, but good enough, I think. So now we've just got to apply this onto the bauble. So I'll speed this bit up as well. Got a tiny little air bubble right at the top of the ghost's head, but we can always put a decoration on there to get rid of that, although I think it's just because the white vinyl's just underneath the black outline just there. Yeah, I think I've pretty much gotten rid of that now. Okay, so isn't that so cool that you can actually infill the little ghosty colour as well? And for this one, we might go with some green gems on this, because I didn't have green vinyl, but because I've only put black and white on here, I think maybe some green gems to decorate that might look quite good. So we'll leave that to one side for now, and I'll speed through these last two. We'll see how successful they are, but I'll just speed through them, and I think I am going to do these ones layer by layer by layer, like we did with the pumpkin splat. This definitely works, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit simpler for me just to do the splat first, then the wording, or the other one, the splat, the circle, the swirl, and then the bats on top. So I'll speed this bit up for you. There we go. That one worked really nicely with the fine intricate orange over the top of the white. This one, as you can see, the orange is a bit translucent because it's darkened the orange where it's over the top of the black splat. And you probably also saw in the sped up bit, I was poking a hole in the air bubbles and squeezing the air out, and it did work. So there was a couple of larger ones on that moon sort of shape that I was popping and then squeezing them out, and it worked. There's still a few bubbles on there, and you also obviously see where the orange vinyl is overlapping the black vinyl. You've got the difference in height on there as well. But it's all, you know, learning, and do we like how that looks, or would we want to change that, do it a little bit differently? Perhaps you could, in the design software, take the circle and cut it out of the splat, so when you actually put the pieces together, just the splat would show around the edges, and then the orange would be perfectly orange because there wouldn't be any black vinyl behind it, if you know what I mean. So you definitely could play around with that as well. Also, I think if you had glossy black vinyl as well as the matte black, you could play around with the bats could be glossy, or the black splat in the background could be glossy, so one of them stands out a little bit more from the other as well. So those are the 5 designs that we have got, and we can play around with a little bit of embellishing like I did on the first one that I finished off camera, where I just put a few little gems on there. So I have got, I think on this one I want to go with these gorgeous white heart gems. I just think they might look quite cute having a couple of white hearts on there. Even just one actually looks quite sweet. And it covers up with that one little air bubble that's there as well. Or you could go with a couple of the other sizes up over here too. Go with the tiniest little one. I kind of like that actually. I think. Yeah, I think that looks good on there. Okay, so we've got little white hearts on the splat pumpkin. She shouldn't react to me saying her name because she's in the kitchen at the moment, so hopefully she can't hear me. And that little heart there. And that tiny one up there as well. So that's a little bit of glue on the face there. But gorgeous little splattered pumpkin. Really, really cute. I like that one a lot. This one, because we've only got the black and white on there, I've got a lovely selection of different bright green, like slime coloured gems. I've got those ones, and I've got pearls as well. I wasn't sure if maybe we could put a few of these on here, just to like add a little bit of colour in that's not orange. Because we've got the sparkles in the background, I wasn't sure maybe if a few gems would look nice too. Possibly. I do quite like it as it is, but possibly a little bit of sparkle would look good on there. Or green, other green things I have. I do also have green hearts as well that are faceted. Perhaps like a little green heart on the ghost would look cute. So it's like a cute spooky. Yeah, I like that. And then perhaps little tiny gems, like little scatterings of the tiniest little ones that I've got, which are like a 3mm. So maybe put a couple together there, and another one over here. I think you probably can hear that angle grinding quite loudly. Why is it always when you want to film that the neighbours are noisy? And it's a Friday, so okay. One of those there. One of those there maybe. I don't want to overdo it, but I quite like the idea of a few little gems on here. Maybe that, we don't need that one. Or that one could go up there, because it's a bigger gem. Little cluster. And then maybe like one little small one down here maybe. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, where did I get these ones from? Make sure I put them back in the right pot. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these on. Actually, maybe we'll decide on all of them and then I'll stick them all on at the same time. I don't have to keep speeding up different bits then. So for this one, this Trick or Treat, I have a few purple gems, which obviously purple is a good Halloweeny colour as well. So I've got purple hearts. I do love these little jelly hearts. Maybe purple hearts would look nice to go with the orange. We could just go with 3 like we did on the pumpkin one and have the 3 different sizes, or we could go with 5 because I do think 5 often looks really nice scattered across the project. So we could go another tiny one over here, and then maybe another medium one over there, or we could bring that little one down here and have a little scatter of 3. Yeah, I quite like that. I think that looks good. So we've got a different colour coming in with that one as well. We've already done our sequins onto this one, so the only other one to kind of decorate is this one. And what could we do on this one? I did bring out some like clear bubble sort of gems. Maybe. Or I did also bring out these little like clay pieces. There's like a little, this was kind of acting as, sorry, oh, neighbour's dog walking past. I was kind of thinking that this was like a full moon, but we could add a little crescent moon in there with some of these little white clay stars. I quite like that actually. Okay, we can do that for this one. Makes them all a little bit different then, which is nice. She's just come in and dropped her tennis ball behind me now. Hello? We all heard you barking. Okay, so we've got those on here. I quite like that layout as well, so I'll speed this bit up and add all of these gems on, and then we'll come back and I'll show you adding ribbon onto them and then how you can attach them to a card as well. Okay, so there we have all of our little Halloweeny designs of ornaments. I think I probably will take the backing off of all of them, just so they don't look as cloudy on the back, but they're so pretty. And just like a lovely quick and easy sort of project to do as well. It didn't take me very long to cut all of the vinyl out either. So a really cute little project. And then we can decide which of these other designs is going to look nice on top of a green background. And these backgrounds that I have done here are using the gorgeous TaylorMade Journals Distress Plaid paper pack. You might have to search for this because I think it was very popular, so not a lot of places probably still have it in stock, but I just absolutely adore the different plaid designs on this, so I just had to use it for the backgrounds on these. So let's pick which one. I do kind of think that Spooky Season is going to look really good on there, or we could go with a gorgeous pumpkin. Don't forget you can also add other sentiments on top of these as well, so like you are fantastic for like vampire bats or something, you could add your little sentiments onto there as well, like I did Hello Pumpkin on that one. What about this one? That looks quite nice. I think this is my least favourite of them all, but I think it's just because the orange looks so dull because it's on top of the black. Or we could go with Trick or Treat. Which one do we put on the card? I do quite like the Spooky Season. I'm going to go with the Spooky Season, I think. Okay, let's move these out of the way so they can safely finish drying. Then, to attach this to the card, what I was doing is I took a pen, so I've just got a little black fine liner. I put the ornament onto my card. This is one of those little tiny bits of orange vinyl that's been sticking to me. There we go, I've stuck it on my jumper now. That's got rid of it. So sorry, first of all I should say this is a top folding card blank that I have stuck a patterned paper panel onto, but you can use a side folding one as well. I just feel like maybe top folding is going to hold the weight of the ornament a little bit better. And then all I did for the pumpkin one was I just laid the ornament onto the card where I kind of want it to hang on there, and then draw a little dot there and draw a little dot above the top of the little hanger as well. So we've got two little dots on our background. Then, if you have like a crocodile or some kind of punch that has a really long arm reach onto it, you could come in from the side, or if you've done a top folding card, you could probably come down from the top. My little, I don't know if it's an 1/8 of an inch punch, will not reach that far into my card. So I'm going with a screw hole punch, which is like one of these sort of things that has different sized holes, and I'm going for the smallest hole that it has. I've got a tiny little self-healing cutting mat, and then I'm just going to take this tool and I'm going to cut a hole where both of those little marks are. Okay, it's a little bit wonky, but it won't matter when we put the ornament on there. Then, before we attach our ornament, we want to take that protective backing off of the back, just so that when the recipient gets it, they're not thinking, oh, that looks a bit, you know, bad on the back, but it will just be because there's this protective cover. But it saves you having to explain, take the protective cover off the back of it. So, you can pull this off, and look how beautiful and clear that now looks. So gorgeous. And you can see it from the other side as well. Obviously, anything with writing on, you can't really make it a double-sided design, but if you were doing this one, for example, with the pumpkin on or the splat or anything, you could take the design, mirror it and cut it out again and try and line it up directly on the back as well if you really wanted to. But obviously with a writing one, it's going to be backwards on the back. Then we can place that onto there, get a length of ribbon, and I'm going to go with the narrow ribbon again, which is the 3mm, it's got 5 meters on the roll, 3mm of ribbon in width, and I'm just going to cut a nice length of it. Okay, then what you want to do to attach it to the card, really simple, just take your ribbon, try and fold it in half so it's a little bit smaller to get through the hole. Go up through one hole, keep the loop on the back, on the inside, and go up through the other hole. So you might have to explain to your recipient, take the ribbon off the card and then re-tie it back onto the top of the ornament for you to be able to hang it. But I think that's probably, you know, kind of common sense that you're going to sort of take it off the card and use it as an ornament, and the ribbon is attaching it to the card, but then you can take the ribbon off the card and attach it to the ornament as well. But I thought this was probably the easiest way, rather than having a loop of ribbon and then having to hang it really far down on the card because you've got the loop of ribbon. I thought this would be easier. So then we're just going to take the end of the ribbon, thread it through the back of the ornament's hoop, and then make sure these are kind of a little bit even, so that you can tie a nice bow, and then just tie a knot first just to secure it into place, and then you can just tie a really simple little bow onto here. And then when the recipient gets this and wants to use it as an ornament, this will be plenty of ribbon to tie onto it to hang it anywhere that they want to as well. So we can trim those off at an angle, and then you have your gorgeous spooky season ornament on the front of a card, but you can now send this to somebody as a card to them, but they've got a lovely gift as part of it as well. You can definitely go more to town with the backgrounds rather than just using a piece of paper, but I feel like it's just kind of a nice way of giving a gift, isn't it? It's better than just sort of plopping it in a box or putting it in an envelope. Attaching it to a card is quite a nice way of you then being able to write a message on the inside and everything as well. But yeah, I just thought that this is a cool little project to do, and thank you so much to HTVRONT for sending me the gorgeous products that I have been using to create these lovely acrylic ornaments. I probably should show you just how to add the ribbon actually before I finish the video. Okay, so I'm probably going to keep this one because it's a pumpkin and it's got little hearts on. So I'm going to take the backing off of this, and then oh, look how beautiful it looks when you take the backing off, how crisp and gorgeous it looks. And then I'm going to take another length of ribbon, And then to be able to hang this, so this is what the recipient would do when they get hold of their ornament off the front of a card, if that's how you want to give it to them, then you would just take your ribbon, fold it in half, thread the loop of the ribbon through the hole, and then put the two tails of the ribbon through the loop, pull them back through the loop, so then you get a nice little looping of ribbon on the top of the ornament, and then you can just tie a knot in the ends of the ribbons up here as well. And that just gives you a nice little loop of ribbon that you can hang this from. So this could be hanging from the handle of a window, so you could have it hanging in the window. It could be hanging from a magnet stuck to the fridge. You could have a magnet holding it up. It can be clipped onto a pegboard with a peg. You know, there's so many different places that you can have an ornament. Or if you decorate for Halloween, you can put it on your Halloween tree, or like a twig or something that you might want to put all of these gorgeous little ornaments onto. So yeah, now I'll finish the video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing this little, like, different little project of some little cute ornaments that you can create using your permanent adhesive vinyl and from HTVRONT and your LOKLiK cutting machine. If you did get one when I did my original video, then maybe you're looking for a project to try out some vinyl with, and maybe you didn't want to decorate a bottle or use heat transfer vinyl to decorate a garment or something. You can actually just use your vinyl on little projects like this or straight onto a card. I did cut this one out and it ended up being a little bit too big, but this kind of one, if you've done like a cool inky background or something, you can just then apply your vinyl to a card as well. So even if you don't like the idea of ornaments, you could take some of these ideas but just use them on your cards as well. I mean, that sort of size, a 3-inch, is the perfect size for a circular topper on a card as well. So I think Pumpkin is telling me to shut up and finish the video so that she can go and play in the garden. Yeah, she's looked at me now, she wants to play. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow as well, because I'm going to have another video featuring some more HTVRONT stuff, also some more of the vinyl pieces that I was cutting out as well. I want to use on some of those bits that are going to be in that video as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!